Hi, and welcome back to another live stream, and also to the channel, of course. Welcome Midnight, and also welcome John to the chat and also to the live stream. We were chatting about this instrument we are talking about, this Mother-32, the Moog, that famous Moog sound, of course, the famous ladder filter that it has. And you asked me also, I think Midnight was it? It was difficult in the beginning, but it's a very hands-on, easy to use synth, and with a patch bay also on it. Oh, it's a nice synth with lots of features, and also I think maybe also one that you must have in your studio, certainly because you have that Moog sound, of course. So what we are going to do today, gonna give you a quick overview, just go through the features of the synths, and we also I'm going to show you how to create a patch, how to patch some sounds, and also how to use that sequencer that is on this synthesizer. That's a very interesting feature that it has. But before I'm going to use that sequencer, I must tell also something important about that, because certainly when you're buying this new, I don't think, because this one is just it's a Moog from the USA. It's made in USA. This one, I think the newer versions that you can buy, I don't know if they exist yet, but the newer versions are not made in the USA. This one is made in the USA. Oh, okay, but now you know how to to work with it. But so I have this one. I think a year or two now, and I certainly bought it because before I had the Moog Prodigy, and you have also that Moog sound, but the Prodigy is not the same as the 32. Prodigy is more rougher and more in the high and mid end. This one is also very great in the low end, certainly for bass sounds. And it has that typical ladder filter that very famous is on the Moog synths. So we're gonna try to recreate some patch on this also. So first I'm gonna go through those features on the synth. So it's a one oscillator synthesizer. So it's a very small synth, but it can do big things. You have just two waveforms, but there are other options. I'm going to talk about that later when you're using that patch bay, but you have a square wave and a sawtooth. That's the waveforms that you have. What I'm also going to do, I forgot to do that now. I'm going to turn on my Studio Pro, Fender Pro 8, because I have also an oscilloscope here, an analog, but I'm not going to use that because I don't have a webcam on that oscilloscope. But I'm going to use the oscilloscope from Studio One, so you can see the waveforms also of this little synth. That's the spectrum analyzer that you see, and I can change that from the spectrum to an oscilloscope. So when I play now, you will see, of course, the waveform on the scope. So it has that typical vintage waveform. That's more not straight lines like a square, but more a ramp. It's a ramp form that's typical on those classic waveforms that you have. Certainly on the Moog, there are not squares. They are a little bit ramped up, as you see. That's that typical waveform. And you have also that sawtooth, the same thing on the sawtooth. there is a sort of ramping of that. I'm gonna turn the synth a little bit louder. Does it sound okay? That's better. So that's the waveform on this synth. What do you also have? You have here, you can manually modulate the pulse width. So it can go, I'm going back to the square wave. When you modulate that manually, you cannot go to 0. I think I can if I adjust this one, one of those pot meters here inside. But normally I like it to doesn't go to the 0 when I do it manually, of course. Otherwise, it will be not useful if it goes to 0. So you don't use that if it's 0. So you must have a little bit of pulse, of course. So you can do very interesting sounds, certainly when you're going to that pulse, and you're using also, and we will see that when we are going to use that patch bay. Excuse me. So it doesn't go to 0 when you adjust that manually, of course. Then you have here the mixer that you can use for when you're using your patch bay. So I can combine my square wave with a sawtooth. So I can patch it, so I can have a sawtooth and a square wave combined. So you don't have just two waveforms, you have more, you can morph between those two. I can I can show you that. So what I'm gonna choose here. You have on your patch bay, white is output, and without that white background, it's an input. So I'm going to take on my. I'm gonna use my glasses because I don't I don't see it. That's better. You have here my pulse wave goes out. Now it's on the square, so that's the same. I'm gonna use my VCO sawtooth and external audio input. Now what it's gonna do is when I play, that's a square. When I turn that mixer on, that's now mixed with the sawtooth. You can go further. And now we have the sawtooth. So you can morph between those two. So you have more possibilities than only the square and the sawtooth. And of course, when you are using that pulse, like I said, sawtooth is very raspberry sound. And when you're using the pulse wave width, you're gonna and now that's a very nice sound. So combine those pulse with that sawtooth, and so that's also a feature. So like I said, this patch bay can give you more possibilities in sound, certainly in waveforms. Even if it is a small synth, even it's one also, there are so many things that you can do with this little machine. Going back, I'm gonna turn that off. So again, then you have, of course, the filter on this one. You have the cutoff and the resonance, like every subtractive synth. And if there are people who don't know what a subtractive synth is, that means you start from a waveform, and you're gonna take off some frequencies till you get your sound that you want to create. Instead of the FM, the synth like the DX7 here, Those are multiple waveforms, sine waves that modulate each other. And when you're using that, you tweak one of those. The other, there is a sine wave as a base, as your operator, and then a modulator. And when you're changing one of those frequency of those two, you can change your sound. That's another way of creating sounds. In the subtractive synth, it's easy, just your pulse wave that you use, or your waveform, and then you're going to subtract that with your filters. And then add some envelope generator and all the rest. You can create like that a sound. As you hear, very nice low end on the waveform. And there is no effect on it, and there is nothing of effects on the synth. Without any filtering, it sounds fantastic. That's my opinion. You have also a low pass and a high pass filter on this synth, and that's also a very interesting and nice feature to have that on this synth. So I think, if I be honest, this is one of the nice sounding oscillators that I have in my studio, and I have some synths here, but this oscillator is some of the best sounding oscillators, and I didn't even mention the filter. So let's go to that filter. We're gonna swipe that, and we will see what it does. Goes very low. Now I'm gonna change the oscilloscope into a spectrum analyzer so you can see in which frequency it goes and where it goes the highest. Noisy? Is there some clipping or something? I don't know. What do you mean? Or there is a noise generator? Yes, there is. We're gonna talk about that also. Certainly when we are going to that bay. There is a noise generator also on this here. I forgot, between the pulse width and the frequency, the cutoff. You have also not only the mix when you're using it, when you use the patch bay, you're using your external audio. It's a mixer for your second sound that you're inputting in this synth. But it has also a noise generator. It has also the noise. And you can see it directly in your spectrum. It's white noise. Pink noise is, I think it's different. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's white noise. That's the noise. Then go back to the pulse width. Going lower. And I can go lower if I want. I'm going one lower. If you are on speakers, beware, because going. Now what we're going to do is give a little bit of resonance. Yes, and I'm going to show that also. If we have some time, we can show that. You can also have some FM sound on this little synth. I just discovered that not so long ago. If I remembered how I did it, because it's using that patch bay, so you can modulate those. But let's get from the beginning, because I did it, I think, yesterday, I think. So you can do that also, that FM sound on this little synth. So That's with the halfway, 3/4 now. It has a sweet spot, eh? And full open. Going lower. As you see, how low it can go. I think it was 20-30 hertz, like that. It goes very low. If you have some headphones on or speakers, it goes very low. That's when you are opening the resonance full open. It's white noise, and thanks. Then we have also the low pass filter. Now we're not playing. That's a very super sounding low pass filter. That's the maximum I can hear. This one I can hear. I think it's 18K. I think 18K there. 18K. Above that I cannot hear that. Maybe some of you can hear above 18. I think 18, 19K is my max. I can hear all above that. I cannot hear that. So that's that low pass filter. It's a very So that's the filter, very nice sounding filter. What you also have here, you have of course your envelope generator with an attack and a decay, and you can choose between sustain on or off. That's without the sustain on and off. So that sounds very nice, and there is no effect on. I think I'm gonna see if I put some effect. I don't think I put some effect on. There is no effect on. Super sounding synth. That's the then what do you also have? Your modulation. You can choose between an LFO or an envelope generator. So if I can have now the LFO. So now I'm using the that's LFO, and that's an envelope generator now. That's the envelope generator now. So, and if you're going to the LFO, then that's the rate. So your LFO, you have two waveforms. You have the square wave or the sawtooth wave. That's now. So that's the LFO, you can use it. So this one, you modulate that, the filter with the LFO or an envelope generator. But also, what I also have here is a sort of VCA mode or a drone mode. So you can have a drone. That's that drone mode. As you hear, it goes almost in audio frequency. So it's very, very high. It goes very high. So that's also very nice that I have an LFO that goes in audio mode. Certainly when you want to create those FM sounds, that's one of those features also that you can have here. So that's an LFO, two waveforms, like I said, the square, and you have also the triangle. What do you also have, of course, the high pass filter, we did that. The VCF mode polarity, that means you can change the polarity, positive and negative. Sometimes you see that in your waveform, it change. The curvature, the ramp form will change also in another way if you do positive or negative. That's for the filter. It can change your sound, but not always. But in this case, but you can choose, you can use it. Maybe if I have an example, I can do that. Next, what do you have also? You have your VCO mod amount, so you can also change your frequency of your oscillators. That means you can, so I'm going to use it for as an LFO here, or so the LFO is in. Then I must turn that frequency. So I'm going to use frequency, then LFO, and now. So you change your frequency of your oscillator. So turn that in LFO. You can do also an envelope generator instead of the LFO. So it follows the LFO, the envelope generator instead of the LFO. If I go to that. Then you have the same thing as a glide, or like this one here. You have the glide also, or portamento. When you do that, when you modulate that, you have a little bit like a glide. But it goes not to the second note, it goes to the... You can also, instead of modulating your frequency, you can modulate your pulse width with that also. So you choose pulse width, then choose LFO. Now I'm gonna show you that on the oscilloscope so you can see when it modulates that pulse width. Going back to but what do you see? That it goes to 0 also. So when you are modeling that with your LFO, it can go to 0. When you do that manually, you cannot do that. And there is, I think, better than manually. You don't need that. You want to have a sound. Otherwise, you don't have a sound. But for an LFO, it can go to that 0. It can go very low. It can produce fantastic sound, monophonic, analog, Moog sounds. And that's why also they don't drop in price. When you're going to buy one, you will pay almost the same thing that you paid at when it was new, because they are so interesting and so nice. Let's go to the next. So that's the pulse width modulation you can choose. There is also an envelope generated VCO modulation. So it's the envelope that modulates the pulse width of the... That's also very... and add some effects on, and you have fantastic sound. I'm gonna give you an example. What I'm using always is chorus, of course, on this, and a little bit of reverb, and you can have a very big sound. Maybe in the US, but here in Europe, I think 400 euro is the last I can see. I didn't pay the full price for this one, but in Europe you don't find them for that price. I think the minimum I can see today to 450 euros. That means almost $500. So that's not so cheap here. That's right, because I bought mine for, I think, 400 euros at that time. And then there was a period they were less expensive, 300, 215. But the last year, when I looked it up, it was almost 415 and even more than 500. And certainly when it's made in the USA, this one is made in the USA. So they prefer that than the new one that was the last version they made was not from the USA, were I think made in China, something like that. But since Moog was sold, there were other manufacturers that created those synths, but was not made there in the USA. This one is made there, so that's made in the USA synth. So, but I'm gonna keep it. I'm not gonna sell it because it's a very. I think it clips, yes. So that's the VCO modulation. So you can use it also to modulate. And of course you have the glide. That's that glide function. So that was those functions. What you also have here. I'm gonna start with that with the patch bay. So I patched some things here, like before now. I can, yes, you know, there is a noise generator also here, but you can, maybe, per example, I have mixed two waveforms. I have a square wave here. I'm gonna set everything in 0 seconds. So I have that square wave, and I'm gonna mix it with another with a sawtooth like I did before. Go into the mix here, mix 1. Then I have also, I need also to use my noise, but now I cannot use my noise because when I set it here now like that, but I don't have noise. So what can I do? I'm going to use my mixer. I have a mixer here. I'm going to use my mixer and take the noise output. I have that also here. Where did I found that? Noise. VCA, VCF, VCO pulse. I know there was noise. Here it is, noise. And I'm going to set it in my mixer number 2. Then we are going to use this one here, mixer 1 and 2. So 2, it'll be noise. And then from there, we are going the output mixer. VCA, the VC mixer output, this one. I'm going to set it in external audio input. So now I have a choice between pulse. I can morph now between pulse and square and sawtooth, excuse me. So from square to sawtooth or pulse, that depends. But I can also add some noise if I want. Before I cannot do that because I'm using it for my second waveform. But with this VC mixer, now I have some noise also. High pass. Some pulse width modulation for that also. À la fin. So you can create that sound with that small synth here. A little bit more. Now you're in the FM range. Until now, I just use it as a synth on its own with some patching. But there is another very interesting thing on this patch, that here, the tempo. So what can I do? I can use my sequencer and sync that with my drum computer. So in this case, I'm using the TR-08 from Roland. And can sync them together. That gives you also lots of options, of course. So let's go to that sequencer. And before I'm going to that sequencer, I want to tell you something about that sequencer, because about the synth. So before I want to do this video, I started a few times to do this video, but there were some issues, but it was not the synth, but it was a synth, but there was something that I must do that before I couldn't start the video. That was when you are buying the synth new, there were some faults there were some bugs in the software there. It's an analog synth, but there are some also some digital control systems certainly for that for this sequencer also, and there were some bugs, and I didn't know that because I couldn't clear a pattern, and that was strange. So I went and looked it up on the website. So I saw there was a latest version of the factory that I must download that, and that was easy. Everything was straight ahead on that website. You can follow it for PC or for Mac, the same thing. You download the new version on it, and that problem was solved. So if you have an older one, make a factory download, a reset of the factory also, just to be sure that it has the latest firm update and the latest firm software on it. Because in the first one there was a bug, there was some bugs on, and now when I did that upload, it's gone. It works perfectly. So that was an issue. So be aware when you have this synth, do that before you're gonna play with it, or certainly for the sequencer. It's just for the sequencer that you need that, and nothing more. That's not so big, but so change that firmware on your synth. Latest update, you can find it on the website of Moog. It's very easy. Download that. The only thing that you must have is from MIDI DIN to USB converter. I have a MIDI patch here that's connected with my synth with MIDI with the USB, so it can communicate with my laptop. That's the only thing that you must do. For the rest, was very easy. So that done, you have a sequencer here. It's a very straight off sequencer. You can store 8 patterns on this sequencer if you want. And I think also there are some banks also, but I'm using all those. If you have 8 patterns, there are a lot of patterns. You can choose between using it as a keyboard or as a step sequencer also. And when it's in default, it's just gonna go to the first pattern, press on pattern, and go with your arrows to the left. Number 1 now, and start. With your tempo, gate length, and everything, tempo or gate length, you can change here. So you can change your tempo, but also your gate length. I think with shift you can change that. I didn't use that, but I'm gonna do that also. Why not? Let's try. So that's to start with. You can record something with your keyboard like now. Let's press shift and then on the same button of stop button. Then it's go into record. It's orange, so I can play something. That's played. Now let's replay that. I can change that. I can turn off some notes if I want. Shift, go to step sequence. Those are the steps that I created. Start that again. Can also give an accent. I'm gonna give an accent maybe on this one here, number 4. Then go to stop. Go to keyboard again. Then shift again, record. Then shift, press on accent. again, and now it's on. That's the first one. Oh, normally it was the fourth that I want. Now it's an accent on the first, but I'm going to do that also on the fourth. Stop again, record again, shift, press simultaneously the accent. I'm going to do 4 again, and now it's on. And I think also when you go to shift, the length, you can change your length now. You can change your length and the tempo. I'm not going further deeper into that. The same thing with that patch bay. There are 2 things that I'm going to show you on this patch bay again also. And that's the second, that's what I'm going to do now. So what you also have on the patch bay, it's tempo. And this tempo is very interesting when you're using also that sequencer. I'm going to put that in. So I have a trigger out from my Roland, and I can also change those triggers also on that Roland. So you can trigger on a different moment. So you can have much things, much much different rhythms and patterns that you can create. And starting now with the drum, I'm going to turn that a little bit louder. Thank you, Midnight, for because if I'm wrong, you can always correct me. Of course, that's also the reason why I do those live streams. So thank you for that. I'm gonna turn it a little bit louder, maybe. And now we can start. Change that. Oh. Cannot do that. Can play. Now you can, if you press, you can stop. I can also change my drums. So I changed now the drums also. I didn't change the drum, but I changed the trigger on the drum. A little bit of noise. Negative now. That's a negative now. So change the polarity. That's the polarity they can change. So it's for the filter, of course. So you can see you can do a lot of things with this little small synth. So that was the sequencer. You can sync it with your tempo. You have also the other things, like you can set the run and stop, same thing. If you have an instrument that can give you that signal, start and stop and run, so it goes with the other modulars. And then you have also a reset button, like a reset for a reset here, your hold here, the same thing as we do here, but then remote controlled, of course. Then for your keyboard, same thing, envelope generator, and your gate, of course, also. What do you also have here? And that's also interesting, and we're going to try that also out. Is you can also create some FM sounds on this synth. So what I'm going to do is going back to neutral, like that. Going to take everything out. Don't need that also. And to create some FM sounds, there are some things here that you can use for creating an FM sound. So what I did, I hope I didn't forget it. So let's go to No. Okay, let's see. What do you have here? Now I'm in a pulse, but I'm gonna take a sawtooth like that. And I gotta put this, what I did was, you have also the LFO trigger and you have an LFO SQ. What I did, and you have your LFO rate. Okay, I didn't do that like that. I used my VCA to my LFO rate, I think. I'm gonna try that. Yes. So what I did was my VCF, my output, that's output VCA, sorry, excuse me, and I put it in my rate of my LFO. So massive sounds that you can create with that. I can put my drums on it. Can also change and create another one. So there you have it. So there are so many possibilities, so many sounds that you can create with that little synth here. With one oscillator, just one oscillator, but so many things more that you can do. Certainly with that fantastic filter, and also nice, interesting sequencer that is on this synth. So to be ending with my conclusion, of course, do I think this synth is maybe one for you? I think yes. I certainly say yes. If you can find one cheap one for $300 or something, or 400 euros, 300 euros, just buy it, because I think they will, maybe, I don't know, because certainly those from the USA, there will be not so much of those synths available on the market. So that's also, and even if you don't use, I'm not that modular synthesizer guy, but as a synthesizer on its own, it's very powerful. I can use it. I use it sometimes with also my ARP Odyssey, because I can also patch it with that. So it's very useful, even with other synths. I can use it also with my MS-20, and that's also semi-modular synth like this one. So it has lots of capabilities of interesting ways to use it. And certainly I recommend it for sure, 100%. If you find one for a nice price and it's in great shape, then buy it, because you don't regret it. And I don't know where I was in discussion with someone that modular synths, because you have a lot of time you need to make a patch. On this one, it's very easy. You can create a patch in 1-2 minutes. It's not so, even less, in less than a minute, you create a patch. That's not so difficult. And it's also very great knobs, big. It's not small. It's bigger than the Behringer synthesizers that you have, or it's bigger than that. The knobs are very nice, very great to feel. They feel also great. Build quality also very nice. Real wood, not like the Behringer, or not real, but the price is also not the same. So That's normal. So very nice synthesizer. I'm very glad that I bought it 2 years ago, and still I love to play with that, and it gives me very nice feeling after I played it, and also it gives me some inspiration and creativity to create some sounds. So yes, of course, I recommend it 100%. If you want to buy one, or if you can find one to buy it, just do it, because it doesn't take a lot of place, because it's small. It's very versatile. It's very useful. It's easy to use. You can create easy some patches. You can also program your, like I said here, your pattern. You have 8 patterns that you can record on it. You can also delete that. That's very easy to delete. You must press those 2. So reset and shift button, and then now it's delete. See, the pattern is delete. I think so. Yes, I'm in the... So it's deleted. Easy to use. There are lots of... on the internet you can find lots of patches that you can create on this synth. Also on Moog website you can find lots of information of this synthesizer. So little small but big sounding synthesizer. So for Midnight and also John, thank you very much to come and visit the channel. For all those others who came and watched the video also of the live stream, thank you also. If you have a question, just leave it in a comment or in the chat. I will let the chat open so you can discuss a little bit more if you like. And if you have a question, just leave it there or in the comments. And also feel free to like and subscribe to my channel, of course. And we will see each other on the next live stream. Take care. Still be creative and stay creative, of course. And see you next time. Goodbye.